Shocker, we're back with more real life drama. These are your stories. Reminder, my forum is now open again. It's linked in every description of my videos. It's at the very top. Just fill out the form. Buckle up for this crap show. I love when a story starts like that. This story played out for about 15 years, just for context. In my wild early 20s, I was the wild part. I had found what I thought was love. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. I was engaged to the older brother of my childhood best friend. We will call him John. John was in the military and was now a recruiter. I was bartending in a bar. Things started getting really off with him. During this point, I was on all nights at work, coming home anywhere from 3:30 to 5 a.m. He'd be up and at work by 7, so our schedules were definitely clashing, but I thought that's all that was wrong and it'll just work itself out. So I would come home with like $300 to $500 cash, and money started coming up missing before I could take it to the bank. I'm suspicious, of course. We also had a roommate, John's cousin, so I wasn't positive who it was. But things escalated so fast from there that I didn't have time to even start investigating too much. One day, John's mother comes to our home and not so much asking, but telling me she's going through our house. She's been really great to me as I grew up being at her house quite often. So yeah, of course. What are we looking for? I'll help. My heart sinks as she says she thinks my fiance is on substances. I tell her about the money I'm missing. All she found that day was steroids, and honestly, I was relieved that's all it was. Not great, but it could have been far worse in my eyes. At this point, I had been a bartender for years, and we have a pretty close community in the bar scene here. Everyone knows everyone. We had a Facebook group and everything. I joked with John one day that he would never be able to go to a bar near where I worked without me hearing of it. This was just a joke at the time. Was being the key word here. Well, the night that Mom had stopped by earlier in the day to snoop, I'm working the bar alone with one waitress on the floor. Let's call her Sarah. A couple of bartenders from other establishments came in to see me. One leaned into me as if to get close to say something private. This man said, "Don't freak out. Don't lose your cool." Slides me his phone with CCT of his bar, ready to hit play. He says, Sarah and John came to the bar together and were all over one another. Told you I knew everyone, even when you go to a hole-in-the-wall bar 50 minutes away. Sarah is at the end of the bar at the POS system. I grab his phone and go to the office to watch and collect myself. Sure enough, there they were. Just like he said, all over each other. I walk out of the office and there she is. I held up the phone to show her what I was looking at and said, "So you're screwing John now?" Probably less friendly than that. This girl couldn't gather even a single coherent sentence besides, "I just saw him there. That's not what it looks like." Met with a lot of stammers and stuttering. I told her to cash out her bags, bring me her paperwork, and get the F out of the bar. Are you her manager? She leaves her paperwork and hightails it out as I'm screaming something along the line of, "Good luck finding a new job, hooer." Thankfully, I didn't get in trouble for that. Just a little side note here. There were maybe 20 patrons that were quickly aware of the drama unfolding. No one asked for anything during this. They all kindly just let me freak out for a few until I could gather myself. I had called my other bartender, best friend, to come take over for me so I could go home to have one heck of a showdown with my fiance. I blast through my front door with the adrenaline of a bodybuilder that just smelled smelling salts. He already knows. He locked himself in the bedroom and he's up against the door, so even with all the rage in my body, I can't get inside. I'm screaming what a POS he is as I'm putting everything I own into bags. I know some people would want answers and hear him out, but that's just not who I am. I saw it with my own eyes. There is no explanation needed. He won't let me get my clothes from inside the closet in our room though. This is suspicious to me. I open the door leading to our garage, and what do I see? What a plot twist. her freaking car. She is in my house right now. Well, Sarah's asking to be killed at this point. I freaking lose it. I am screaming at a dang door because they're both too scared to come out and have the confrontation of a lifetime with me. I was raging and I can feel myself getting ready to do something I'm going to regret, so I remove myself from the situation and I leave. I knew I was going to hit the roof, and having a felony charge on my name doesn't sound very demure, or whatever the kids are saying now. By the way, Sarah is married with 2 children. Next few weeks spiral with events in quick succession. I find out that he hasn't paid the mortgage or his truck payments in months. He was, in fact, stealing my money. His military superiors come to the bar to talk to me, wondering where he has been because no one can find him. I explain what happened and that I have no clue. Next thing, I'm getting calls from U.S. Marshals. They had raided our home. They found rugs upon rugs upon rugs, if you know what I mean. Clearly, Mom and I weren't as thorough as the U.S. Marshals were. No surprise there. They are also looking for him. He now has a warrant for going AWOL. This whole time, I think I'm surviving on just the chaos that has become my life. House goes into foreclosure. His truck is taken by the bank. But still, even on week 4, no one can find him, and I damn sure am not helping anyone look for him. 3 weeks later, he's on the news. Insert military branch member has been arrested on AWOL charges. They show his mugshot, and I'm telling you, I quite literally fell out of my chair. The man that I loved for years is on TV, but I don't recognize him. Oh, this is sad. His face was picked at and scabbed over, and it was clear that he was doing a substance, I cannot say it, or something similar. I could tell by his face that he had lost a lot of weight. He looked nothing like he did 7 weeks ago when I picked up the remainder of my belongings. This is pretty much where this part of the story ends. We find out more details about him and Sarah becoming addicts together, but I refuse to let anyone fill me in on his life. He cheated. End of discussion. I didn't care if he was captured by a tribe and hung up by his toes over a great big fire. I was traumatized by the end of all this and have zero sympathy for the way he threw away his life. It was his own doing. Maybe 6-ish weeks later, I will hire a new bar back over the phone. A friend of mine had asked me if I had a job for his friend. We will call him Ryan. Just out of the military, I have a type and I'm not proud of it. He's going through an academy and needs some extra work for cash flow. Day 1, I knew the moment that Ryan walked in the door on his first shift, that looks like a face I will sit on. Sit on it! Have you guys seen that Steve Harvey clip? What would you do? Sit on it! Sit on it! 6'3", clean cut, tattoos, brown hair, hazel eyes. Just my type. After the shift, I gave him my number. We text later that night and I explain, I'm not emotionally available, but I am looking to have some cobwebs blown off, if you know what I mean. He is down and we meet. Down, like literally. Still to this day, I've never had that kind of sexual chemistry with anyone. We literally broke things off the wall. It was wild. We briefly kind of dated, but I quickly ended it. I wasn't ready to date. It was too soon. We still continue to hook up here and there. A few months later, we try again. This time, our relationship lasts about 6 months. Our first real date was at a drive-in movie. He has blankets, a cooler, some snacks. It was so sweet. He pulls out a bottle of my favorite wine. It's still the most effort that someone has given me on a first date. On New Year's Eve, I confessed my love to him while he carried my drunk self to the car, and also while far too intoxicated to even know what I'm saying. I could be talking to a tree at this point and wouldn't have known it. So a few weeks later, he says he wants to talk about something, and I said the same. I also have something to discuss. Well, he starts off by asking me to move in, and is met with the response that what I wanted to discuss was breaking up. I hurt him so badly. but I had to make that choice. Truth be told, I didn't deal with the trauma of my engagement ending so brutally and unexpectedly. I had just pushed it down, pretended it never happened, and quickly moved on. Ryan never leaves my mind. I still think of him all the time. He checks in on me here and there. When a family member of mine got really ill, I guess someone told him, and he was quick to reach out and offer a hand with anything I needed. He offered to come sit with me at the hospital, bring me something to eat, and go take care of my animals, just anything. He wanted to help me. He was always there for me, even when I didn't deserve it. Somehow, we could never stay away from each other. Maybe 2 years later, we will go on another date. This time, I'm ready emotionally. Our relationship is going great. I fell so much more in love with him. Everything about him I loved. I had never had anyone treat me so well in a relationship. It's the happiest I've ever been. In my eyes, he walked on water. But yet again, something was starting to change. He breaks up with me right when I got excited for you. Can't trust that I'm not going to run this time, and that was fair. I deserved that. He didn't want to be hurt by me again. Although I hated it, I understood why. I hate to admit it now, but I did the ugly cry while begging for a chance to show him that it wouldn't happen. I told him that I knew he was the man I was supposed to do life with. He wasn't having any of it, so I had to respect his decision. This breakup hits me worse than any before. Like I knew this man was the one for me. I could see it clear as day, but he couldn't. I had no choice but to let go, and I was a wreck for months. He definitely was the one that got away from me. He still checks in on me from time to time. A few years later, the Misery Loves Company, former friend of mine, sent me their engagement photos. He's getting married. She was stunning. Absolutely gorgeous. I envied her so much. I knew what a great life she was going to have with him and the ways he could provide for her. I guess I'd always held out a bit of hope that it would work out at some point, but obviously that ship had sailed now. And then I'm hit with some messages from him, basically saying that he loves me and knew he was making a mistake, but it's too late to do anything about it now. And it's always been you. I know that now, and I'm sorry. My blood ran cold. I didn't respond. I couldn't. I was crushed all over again. What am I supposed to do with this information? I cried all weekend when I knew he was getting married. She was so lucky. She is the man of my dreams, and I can only hope I find someone like him again. Never really received any other communication from him during his marriage. I would get the occasional, "Hope you're doing well," like once a year or two, but that was the extent of it. During this time, I dated on and off, but no one could compare. I was in love with my ex, and so no one ever got a fair shot. Hindsight, I realized how unfair this was to those people. Ryan and I still shared mutual friends, so I would hear the occasional talk about him and his wife. I never joined in on the conversation because it still hurt so bad. After a couple years into his marriage, I started hearing through the grapevine that things weren't so great between them. I could call that. I have a feeling you end up together. His coworkers were talking in the bar when I was working about how they never see him anymore, and another guy calls Ryan's wife evil and says they're no longer allowed at his house. They used to have big get-togethers, but his friends and coworkers were no longer invited to these, nor did he even show up to any of their get-togethers anymore. Another chimed in that Ryan says it's just not worth the fight. Again, I don't engage in this conversation. Just eavesdrop like my life depends on it. And then, holy hell, the floodgates of information pours upon me. Pours on us. Ryan has left his wife. Our friends start telling me stories about the past few years, filling me in on how controlling she was, the emotional and financial abuse he has gone through, and just how broken down he was. My heart hurt for him, but I didn't know how much truth there was to it, if any at all. I wanted to reach out, but I don't. I hear more concerning things, but in an attempt not to air out all of their dirty laundry, I will just say it was bad. His wife lost friends during separation and divorce to take his side. Even some of her family took his side and acknowledged that they don't know why he stayed as long as he did. His friends tried to take care of him, but this man was broken. I wait to see if I will hear from him. I don't want to seem like a fool by contacting him if they get back together, or if things I'd been hearing were exaggerated or simply not true. So I waited and waited. Then one day, the text message came. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have my hopes up, but I wasn't dumb enough to act on it immediately. I gave him time and space, and more time and more space. They divorced. He let her have anything and everything she wanted for the divorce to just be over. He didn't care about the material things. He just wanted out. He had to completely start over because pretty much everything they had, she took. Unfortunately, he was a shell of the man he was before. The first time I saw him again, the air left my body. He just held on to me. That hug lasted minutes long. It took years for him to actually start to believe the good things I told him. How proud I am of him, how hardworking he is, what a great man he is, how freaking drop dead handsome he is. I had to help him regain his confidence. Another spoiler. We have been married for just shy of 4 years now. I freaking knew it. He treats me like I'm his most prized possession. This time, he thought I'm the one who walked on water. I often wait outside for him to get home from work because I'm just so excited to see him. I know that everyone in a healthy and loving relationship thinks that they are the luckiest in the world to have found that kind of love, but truly, not a single one of y'all could convince me that you have had a better partner. I will fight you on that. I'm the luckiest woman in the world, and I wholeheartedly mean that. I have since learned about his marriage, and it's heartbreaking. Doing simple things like praising him or surprising him with his favorite lunch, telling him to go to that game with his friends and have fun, he appreciates so much. Way too much, actually, but I will never tell him that. I think that's just from the previous trauma. He's been in therapy for a few years now, and that's definitely helped. I can hear the comments now. That's just his side of the story. You don't know what he did to her. And I just want to remind everyone, abuse is not a one-way street. Just because men aren't as vocal about it doesn't mean it's not happening. Probably more often than any of us are aware of. But you're right, I haven't heard her side. However, I have heard the side of her family members. This apparently has been a lifelong battle for her with mostly everyone in her life. I hope she also finds healing from whatever trauma caused her behavior. Her family has kept in touch with him all of these years later because they loved him so much. My conclusion? Hurt people hurt people. Go to therapy, get the help so you don't hurt an incredible person like I did. If I had put in the work to heal from my engagement ending so horrifically, my relationship and marriage probably would have been like a game of Uno. Take 4 more cards. Oh look, take 4 more cards. Now again, we took the long way, but we made it. I knew he was the person I was gonna do life with. Sometimes the one that got away comes back for you. That could have been a whole movie plot. This one is from Christy S. My beautiful disaster of a wedding. Oh, well, how's that beautiful? Always wanted to share this story with you, so here it goes. Myself, 23 at the time, and my then fiancé, 42 at the time. Don't judge. We can't help who we fall for, lol. No judgment, girl. Do you know what's on this channel? Got married in 2009. At the time, we both were struggling financially and didn't have 2 pennies to rub together. Neither of us come from money, so we were paying for everything ourselves. Our wedding venue was a local mansion because it was cheap, under $300 USD. After we booked it and paid the deposit, we found out we couldn't have any alcohol on the premises. Not everyone likes alcohol, I guess. Now, my hubby and I don't really drink, so this wasn't a deal breaker for us. We invited roughly 50 people to our wedding, got back 20 plus RSVPs, which is rare around here. People won't respond and then typically just show up. So we planned for roughly 30 people. When my friends found out that I was getting married, one of them, I'll call him Steve, offered to do my hair and makeup on my wedding day for free. We love Steve for that. I insisted that I would be paying him, but it was his idea to do it as my wedding present. So I didn't have to hire anyone. Great, that saved us even more money. One of my husband's friends at work was going to show up at the venue an hour early and show people where to park because the mansion had specific parking requirements. I asked my sister to be the maid of honor, and my husband asked his brother to be the best man, and that made up the wedding party. I'm not the type of person to ask for things myself, so I never asked for a wedding shower or a bachelorette party or a hen do or anything like that, though I did want one. I found out 10 years later that the reason none of this was offered to me is because my mom had confused me with one of my sisters and thought I did not like parties. I'll throw you one. Screw it. Let's have one. My mom had offered to play the piano while I was coming down the aisle, my favorite classical piece. The mansion had a stereo, so my sister had planned to burn a CD to play at the wedding so that we could dance. Some music was all set. Catering, we went to a local university. They had a caterer course, so we hired the students to cater the wedding. This is all genius for a wedding on a budget. Genius. In order to make sure we had enough food, we planned on 50 people. The catering cost was right around 300 USD. So again, great price, wonderful. Let's go. Catering was set. By this time, the wedding budget was gone. So we had a cute idea, or so we thought. We bought single-use cameras and put them on the tables so that guests would be able to take photos. We collect the cameras and then we would have the photos of our wedding from all different perspectives. Great cheap idea, love it, let's do it. Everyone is doing that at their weddings nowadays. Lastly, my sister, as a present to me, had a cake made for me. So we had a small 3-tiered cake that was supposed to have edible flowers on it, but when we got to the venue, there were no flowers on it. And it was a pain. So my mom took flowers out of my bouquet that she had made and then put them on the cake to make the cake pretty. To save money, I had ordered my dress online from a company that was apparently based in China. The dress itself was gorgeous and was under $200 USD. When my dress finally arrived, it was not what I had ordered. There was a huge bow right in the center of the stomach that looked atrocious. Oh my God, I would probably love that. I love bows. So my mom was able to do a little bit of sewing magic and change that bow to the back and make the dress fit better. On the day of our wedding, everything went wrong. Number one, Steve, the guy that was supposed to do my hair and makeup, never responded to my phone calls in the 3 days before the wedding and just didn't show up at the wedding. And here I was praising Steve in the beginning of this story. We don't love Steve anymore. 2, the friend that was supposed to park the vehicles did not show up, though he had confirmed with my husband the day before. 3, the caterers showed up an hour and a half late. All the food was pre-cooked, so it was all cold. 4, my sister's then 4-year-old daughter decided to squat on the sidewalk in front of the mansion and pee in her dress and panties. So while I was getting ready and trying to put my dress on and get my hair done, my sister was distracted trying to wash and dry her daughter's underwear. 5, only 7 people showed up for our wedding. 7? Whoa, I was not expecting that. Only 7 people showed up for our wedding because we were having a dry wedding. This didn't include the roughly 10 family members that were making the wedding happen between my husband's side and mine. So we only had a total of 19 people, including my husband and myself. 6, during our wedding ceremony, my husband had a dedication to my daughter and basically married her at the same time. It was part of our ceremony to blend our families. During that ceremony, my husband gave my daughter a specific ring. It was her birthstone, which is a diamond, and it wasn't a very expensive ring, but it was a real small piece of real diamond. Within 5 minutes of walking outside after the ceremony, my daughter lost the ring somewhere in the garden behind the mansion. So the 19 of us went on a massive manhunt looking for this ring. It took more than 45 minutes and I finally found it in the fountain. Oh my God, she didn't lose it. She put it there. Number 7, the caterers waited 30 minutes after our ceremony while people were still looking for the ring, and the caterers packed up all the food that we had paid for and took it back with them. Nobody knew that they were packing up, so nobody could tell them to stop. We were all out looking for the ring. Like, you think they would check in before packing up? By the time we went in after finding the ring and I wanted to get a plate of food, which I had not eaten yet, there was nothing left. It was all gone and the caterers were gone. Not to mention, they ran out of food, 2 different types of food within the first 10 minutes of serving. 19 people. And we had paid for 50 people. So I did not get to eat at my wedding. Number 8, I think we're past number 8, my friend. After the caterers packed up, we did the cake cutting. The last I saw of our cake was the 1 bite each that my husband and I carefully fed each other. We found out later that 3 of the people that had shown up, people that were not even invited and were family friends of my husband's father's stepmother, took chunks of our cake home with them. We didn't even get a full piece of it. Luckily, my sister was able to save the top layer, although she did squish it when she was packing up to travel home. No blame there, she at least tried to save it. Number 9. After most of the cake had been stolen and the catering had been packed up and removed, there was nothing left. There was no dancing, there was no music, nothing. We just started cleaning up. I never got a first dance with my husband. I didn't get to dance with my father, which can no longer be recreated because he has passed. No! Oh my God, and the list keeps going. Number 10, my mom was supposed to have played the piano while I was walking down the aisle, but she has arthritis, and that day she was unable to use her hands to play the piano. So I walked down the aisle to something random. I don't even remember what it was. Number 11, when we left, my husband and I ended up going through McDonald's drive-thru in our wedding clothes to get food because we were both starving. Honestly, that's a win. Number 12, my husband's father's wife had offered for us to stay in a furnished vacation rental that she had on the night of our wedding. That was such a sweet offer, we couldn't refuse. It's not that far from where we were getting married. It was on a river and it was beautiful. When we got there after the wedding, we found a note that said that we needed to clean up anything we used, wash any linens that we used, and be out of there by 8 a.m. Saturday morning. We got married on Friday afternoon. So that was a bust. And lastly, we never had a honeymoon. We never had no money, and although I worked for my husband's father's wife at the time, the days that I took off for the wedding, which was 4 days, were unpaid. So we couldn't afford to do anything. So for those 4 days, we hung out watching movies, took a few days trips to Asheville, North Carolina, because it's only 45 minutes away, and my dad loaned us a little bit of money so that we could take my daughter out to do something fun on one of those days. It has been 16 years and we are still happily married and in love, and 100% in love. My apologies, not a percentage less, but we're hoping someday to be able to afford to do over nothing big and fancy, just a small little renewal ceremony with the essential people. And then if we can ever afford it, a huge party. I want to be invited to that. I want alcohol, karaoke, and lots of people having fun. Don't know if I'll ever be able to afford this or not, but a girl can dream, right? Yes, and a girl can invite another girl, and then this girl can come and sing some karaoke and party. Edit. I completely forgot about the photos. Oh yeah! So we had put the cameras out on the tables. Well, with the number of guests we had, it was sure to be a small amount of photos. When we checked them, not a single one had been taken. None. And some of the cameras were missing. So the only photos that we have of my wedding are roughly 7 photos that my sister took on her cell phone. I'm sure you can remember back in 2009, cell phone pictures were not that great. So now I only have 4 pictures from our wedding that weren't unfocused. God bless. Now I understand when you said my beautiful disaster. It was a disaster, but it was beautiful. And you guys were still happily married. It's all making sense. You know what time it is. It's that time. Just that, nothing more. Kidding. Drink your water. All right, next up we have Tori. I had a long distance relationship. We met when I visited my family overseas. I was at my aunt's house and he saw me, so he asked my cousin about me. Anyways, while I was back home, he would give me small things. Like once I saw a teddy bear, said it was cute, and he got it for me. Anyways, I got back home from my trip and changed 100%. He was sweet, and then he switched. He would yell at me. I remember this one time he was at his sister's house and yelled at me, and even his sister was confused. She literally asked him, "Why are you yelling at her?" This guy was so awkward, and if I couldn't talk or text, he spammed my phone a lot. He would want to know where I was going and with who and for how long. He would also call me names. Then came my breaking point. My cousin and this guy were hanging out, and my cousin told me he was talking to other girls because he saw it on his phone. I decided to end things. I sent him a message and told him it was over, and he started to spam my phone. I went out with a friend for sushi that night and then cried the following days because I wasted my time on him. For a timeline, this happened between May and June of 2012, and I ended things December that year. Then the following summer, I went back home to visit my family, and he tried to message me and say that we should work on things. I said no, and then he said, "I will fight for you. Please give me a chance." I told him, "Not only will I not give you another chance, you shouldn't even be talking to me." He was too much, but he did come to my house back home and tried to talk with my uncles for me, but he got nothing in return, thankfully. Mans just needs to give that up. You gotta know when it's time to move on, my friend. Next up, we got Anonymous. I met my ex, Jake, at work. We dated for about 6 months before things ended due to infidelity on his part. He denies ever cheating, but I know better. The relationship ended amidst a lot of drama, and shortly after, he started dating the same former coworker I suspected he'd been seeing behind my back. Been there. That didn't last long, maybe 2 months. After they broke up, Jake and I started getting close again. I thought maybe we'd try to rebuild what we had, but once again, he was already talking to someone else, a current coworker, Sarah. The twist? She has a boyfriend, though that doesn't seem to stop her. She has cheated on him multiple times, and now she and Jake are sleeping together. They both deny it, but they get hotel rooms every weekend. I'm not stupid. To make things messier, her boyfriend constantly calls our workplace, repeatedly calling, hanging up, sometimes asking to speak to Jake, but he hasn't managed to get him on the phone. Meanwhile, Sarah follows Jake around like a lost puppy. She calls for him constantly and acts like they are inseparable. On top of all that, Sarah is rude to everyone, customers included. She's always on her phone, frequently late when she doesn't call out entirely, and rarely contributes positively to the work environment. I have filed multiple reports with HR about her behavior. What really gets me is that Sarah once told me Jake wasn't her type and that she would never sleep with or date him because of girl code. Clearly, that went out the window. So, am I the a-hole here? Because honestly, I'm just fed up. A-hole? You haven't done anything. My question is, does Sarah's boyfriend know? You say that he calls the store. Has anyone been like, P.S., your girl is sleeping with my ex-man? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to share your stories with me. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.